I'm going to show you how to make interactive tables in R. These are tables that your audience can interact with. It's easy to do. We use the data table package. I'm going to show you how, so stick with me. Boom shakalaka. On this YouTube channel, we're creating R programming videos on everything. So here's a table that I've created, and you can replicate what I'm doing at home on your computer because all the data that I use is data that you can access with the Gapminder package. Right, let me show you an example of a table that I created and some of the features. So as you can see, you can sort the variables using these sort functions. You can also filter them. These are numeric variables, or you can sort categorical variables. You can export whatever it is that you've created down there using as a PDF, Excel, CSV, or you can just copy the data. All of this is available to your audience, and this can be exported as a web page, but also importantly, it can be inserted into a Quarto document, and I'm going to talk you through that right now. So here is that same table sitting on a web page. In this case, I built the web page in RStudio. Okay, RStudio has a feature called Quarto. Quarto lets you build pages like this. I've got a whole course on that on learnmore365.com, and I've got videos on YouTube on that as well if you're interested. But nevertheless, it doesn't have to be a Quarto build page. You can export your table as a web page or insert it onto a web page, and it has all of this interactivity, which I think is fantastic. I think this is the way data should be displayed. Your audience should be able to control what it is that they see and how it is that they interact with your data. I think this is amazing. Right, what's nice about this is I have the code that I used to create this table, and I'm going to walk you through this code. And you might be saying, "Ooh, wouldn't it be nice for me to have that code? You want to copy this?" No problem. At the end of this video, I'm going to tell you how it is that you can access the page that I'm looking at right now. You can copy this code. There's a little copy function right there. Stick it straight into RStudio, and I also have little annotations here. So next to each of the lines of code, I explain what it is that I've done there, and you can go through it step by step and do this at home in your own time. Okay, just so that you know, all of this is sitting on a page here called Interactive Tables, and that'll be available at learnmore365.com. I'll talk you through how to get there at the end of the video. On this page, I walk through really step by step about like installing the DT package and calling it as a library. I'll go through some of this actually right now quite quickly, and then I'll go in detail through the code that I used to create the table that you saw at the bottom. Right, just in the first instance, this is the function data table, and into that function, the first argument is the data set that you're wanting to turn into this kind of interactive data table. And if that's all you do, you'll end up with a really nice, well, I mean, it's not very fancy, but it is, everything is sortable by the various columns. Next, if you want to add a filter, right at the top, look at these. These are filters that you can filter the data with, and we can make the data set smaller. You use this argument, filter equals, and you say top if you want it at the top, and bottom if you want it at the bottom. Now, interestingly, with this data, the thing that I'm trying to show you here is that data table as a package and as a function, all of this works really nice in the tidyverse environment. So I've taken empty cars, I've piped it into select the first 4 rows just to make this a neater data set and easier to work with. And I've piped that into the data table function. And of course, if you're piping something in, R understands that the object that you're piping in represents the first argument for that function. So really what this reads is data table, open brackets, empty cars, which has been, had certain columns selected, comma, and then filter equals top. Does that make sense? You can also control certain features within the data table. So you've got options, and if you say options equals list open brackets, you can have a few options set. So I've said page length equals 5, which means it's only going to show 5 items or 5 observations, and the next observations will be sitting on subsequent pages. In each case, there's 5. So page length equals 5, length menu equals, and then I've got open concatenation, open brackets, 5, 10, 20, and 50. And where does that show up? Right here, right? So we can change the length using that. You've got this little option right there. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. You can customize the names, right? So here we've just got empty cars, col names equals open, concatenation, open brackets, and then you just list the names that you want to be the column heading names, and it'll do just that. You've got to list them in the right order, of course. Now, if you want to add these little bars here, right, that represent the sort of magnitude of the value in the cell, you just need to focus for a second here. I've got to talk you through this because it's not completely straightforward if you haven't been taught this. we've got format style, right? So we've said data table. I've just said open and close brackets. The argument inside there, of course, is going to be this data object that we're piping in. Then we're piping this into format style, open brackets. First argument is MPG. That is the column. That is the variable that we're wanting to format, right? Now, we then say background. Style color bar is saying that we want to create a little bar here. That bar has to have a range. In other words, there's a numeric range that the bar has to kind of, these values will translate into the length of the bar. And that range has to be the range of values that exist in the variable that we're talking about. So we say range is mtcos $MPG. That's the variable, right? So this little function here is just going to give us that range of values that this bar needs to consider throughout this variable. And then the second argument is light blue. That's the color of the bar. So that's pretty easy. The next is background size, right? And what this is saying is, look, these bars can be firstly 100% and 90%. It can be 100% the width of the cell, and in this case 90% the height of the cell. Okay, and it's going to take up more or less the entire cell that way, but we've said 90% so that there's a little white gap in between each of the values as you go down. Okay, so that's what you want there. Background repeat, no repeat. This, you actually wouldn't need that in this case, but I've put that there just for teaching purposes, and I've got a little annotation here that explains it. This prevents background pattern repetition, and when you're working in HTML, and I'm not trying to teach people HTML, I don't program in HTML, but when you work in HTML, apparently that if you stick something as the background of a cell and it is smaller than the cell itself, it can repeat in a tiling kind of way. I don't really know how all of that works. I just know that putting in background repeat equals no repeat is good practice, so do that. And finally, you've got these extensions, right? What are these things? We've got these buttons over here. Well, let's go through the extensions, right? We've said data table extensions is equals to concatenation, and these are the extensions we want to add on to our table. Buttons, these are the export buttons. We're going to have to tell it as well a little further down which buttons we want, but we're saying we want this feature of buttons to be enabled. Column reorder means that you can manually reorder the columns yourself as the audience. You can move columns around. Fixed header means this heading's going to stay here even if you scroll down. Okay. Scroller is saying we want to have a scroller on the side. We don't want separate pages for the data. And key table, that's going to say that we can use the keyboard to navigate around. And look at this. I can use my keyboard and move around on the table itself. Okay, so we've said that we want all of these extensions enabled. Then we have to say options list. Now, this is a bit confusing, and it took me a while to figure this out. Then you've got this like DOM equals BFRTIP. What does that mean? Okay, these letters, and I've got it in the annotation on the side here. Oh, I've got it down. I'll go down to the annotation. I've got it somewhere else, actually. I'll show you the annotation, but I'll come. This really represents the order in which these different features need to sit on the page. Okay, let's come back to that. Firstly, I'm going to come back to that. So let's just move on quickly. We've got buttons. Which buttons do we want? We want, the first argument is copy, then CSV, then Excel, then PDF, and then print. So it's going to create those buttons for us. Happy days, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Column reorder equals true. I know this looks like we're repeating ourselves because we said column reorder up there. The column reorder up there is literally just sort of saying we want this feature enabled, and now we're kind of defining, well, what are the parameters? Yes, we want it to be actually on, or you could put there column reorder equals false, but that would be silly. Why would we do that? Same with fixed headers. Scroller equals 300. That's the sort of size of the scroll that you've got there. Scroller equals true. Yes, we want that on. Keys equals true. We can use the keyboard to move around the table. Okay, let's get back to this BFRTIP. If we go down to this worked example over here, and if I go to the same code over here, annotation number 11, this BFRTIP stands for B equals buttons, F equals filtering, R equals processing display. So while it's waiting to be processed, it'll say processing. T equals, this is where the table itself is. I is information summary, and P is pagination control. This is just the order in which the different elements on the page get put. I think it's kind of weird. I don't think this is a very user-friendly aspect of the package, but it seems necessary. I try to do it I try to remove that line of code, and it doesn't work without it. So sorry about that. You just kind of have to, you just got to live with that. Okay, let's look at the code that I used to create this, and I'll go through it quite quickly because most of the concepts we've already talked about. In the first instance, firstly, we're using the Gapminder data. You've got access to this data because you just install Gapminder, library, Gapminder, boom shakalaka, the data is there. I've created a new data object called Gap Enhanced, just because I wanted to make some changes to the data that'll make it more user-friendly in the context of a table. So we called it Gap Enhanced, is equal to the sort of Gapminder data set, pipe that into, we just wanted to see Europe in this case. I didn't want all of the continents. I wanted the year as a factor, not as a numeric variable. The country, we wanted that to be, I wanted this little globe next to each of the country names. So I've called it country HTML. I don't want this to be a lesson about HTML, so let's not get into that. But that variable that I created, I also wanted it as a factor so that we could select multiple countries or very specific countries. And then I've selected those particular variables. You don't really need that last line of code. They're all the variables that are there. Happy days. Now let's look at the code that we use to create the actual darts table. Darts table, first argument is the data that we're going to use. In this case, we're not piping it in, but we're sticking it there. We could have piped it in from the code above. Right. Column names, we are defining the column names. In other words, we are basically saying what we want them to look like. Escape equals false. Now that needs to be there because, again, we're using HTML to render inside of the table. I don't want to get into HTML now. Just best practice, stick escape equals false over there. Again, we've talked about the extensions, right? So we want buttons, column reorder, fixed headers, scroller, and key table in there. Then we've got options, list, and now we're going to put down all of the options that we've talked about, and I described that a few seconds ago. Right, filter is at the top, row names is false. Okay, caption, you can stick a caption. We've given this a little bit of a Gapminder data for European countries, blah, blah, blah. Fine. This is the format style that we used for 3 of them. You'll see down here, these cells are formatted in such a way that they have a bar representing the magnitude of the value inside the cell. And we talked about how to do that, so I'm not going to go over that again. And then right at the bottom, what we haven't talked about is we've rounded off life expectancy and population to 1 digit, and we've put format currency for GDP per capita. Currency equals dollar, digit equals naught. In other words, put it right in the front. Okay, so that's pretty easy going. Now, talk to you about how to get all of this code. You can come to this page, you can copy the code, stick it into RStudio, and do all of this analysis, all of this table creating yourself. Repeat what I'm doing, and you will find it an easy way to learn. And you've got all of these annotations that you can learn from. This page, as you see it at the moment, is available at learnmore365.com, and it's free, right? So if you go here, you create a free account, but you need an account, but creating an account is free, right? Then you go to your dashboard. At the dashboard, there are things that are free and there are things that are not free, but you can very easily scroll down and just click on free resources, and you go to any of these free resources, and you can click on them, and you can then access the resource here, and boom shakalaka, you've got access to that. Okay, and I will stick this particular page onto that page later today, so it'll be there. Okay, I will put a link on the screen right now that you can click on that'll take you to the right place, that'll let you get access to all of this. Hope you had a good day. I hope that you enjoyed this. Hope you learned something. Don't ever change. Don't do drugs. Always do your best. Speak to you soon. Take care. Bye.